Welcome to Mr. Biz Radio, biz talk for biz owners. If you're ready to stop faking the funk and take your business onward and upward, this show is for you. And now, here's Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mr. Biz Radio with me, Mr. Biz, Ken Wentworth. And we're going to talk about something this week that everyone can relate to. I know I say that a lot, but that's part of the purpose of the show, right? We want to talk about things that resonate with people, that people are dealing with on a regular basis. And as an aspect of getting blindsided by different types of things, it's happening every day. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. It doesn't matter you're retired, boy, girl, it doesn't matter, right? Everyone's dealing with this kind of stuff. And depending on how you define blindsided, in the United States here, we've got this election coming up. Holy crap. I was just telling my wife the other day, as a side note, we're getting inundated with these stinking commercials, these political commercials. And I said, can't wait until we don't have these dumb commercials, number one. Number two, can they have a commercial that's actually positive on what they do as opposed to anti their opponent? It's just so negative. Anyway, I digress. So this week, we're going to talk with Dr. Reverend Nic and Mike Sebastian. They're founders of Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center, modern-day mystery school teaching the unparalleled tools of dreams, sound, synchronicity, intuition, and quantum physics for guidance and direction. Guys, welcome to Mr. Biz Radio.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry about that. I had to kick myself off my own soapbox there. I started going down that too. Oh, my gosh, though, it's just been crazy. So before we start diving into all this aspect of being blindsided and things like that, tell us, I know we talked a little bit before we got started here, but tell us a bit about your journey.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Yesterday was 30 years since our first date. 30 years on the 30th. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, it's 30 years today. And, we just celebrated our 29th wedding anniversary in June. And that's part of the whole thing. Michael met me in a dream prior to. But wait, let me tell you about the challenge prior to the good stuff. Okay. I had been, Michael's 26 years older than me, and now we've been together 30 years. So anyway, I had been dating and ghosted back then. This is before cell phones and everything, Ken. And dating a guy for a while, and it was New Year's Eve, and we were supposed to go out, and he's like, hey, I'll pick you up in a few hours. And poof, the guy didn't show. I've never seen him since till this day. And I was devastated. 4 days in, I had a dream that showed me exactly what happened. He got back with his family. The dream was he was with his girls, his 2 kids, hand in hand, walking away from me. When I woke up, I knew the message intuitively. First dream out of the gate, he got back with his family, headed in another direction. So then I was like at ease. Anyhow, 3 months later, I run into Michael, who had just been blindsided from a 15-year marriage.
Yeah, I was served with a divorce notice and not paying attention and never saw it coming. So I got blindsided. Who doesn't? But it taught me to step into my intuition and awareness and become, much more present in the moment so I could pick up on clues coming in. And what was really interesting was I was teaching at college in Texas at the time, and I had a dream, a real clear dream. And luckily I journaled it, wrote the whole thing down. And there was a girl in the dream. She was wearing a purple outfit. Her name was Nicole, and she looked just like Nicole. And fast forward 3 years, I wrote the dream down, forgot the dream completely. 3 years later, who walks into my college sociology class? Nicole, and sits in the front row. That was the beginning. It took me a while to remember the dream and get it activated. And they actually when we were in Phoenix, I think they sent a camera crew and it did a little segment on it. And I had the journal dream and the whole scenario. But it taught me how important dreams are. It literally changed my life. It showed me my life was going to take a 180-degree turn suddenly. And the dream gave me a snapshot that it was coming.
Interesting. So what were you guys doing before you started the Institute and Wellness Center?
Well,
dream team coaching. We've been doing dreams, and we've been known as the Dream Team And we've been doing it pretty much all over the United States.
You know, Ken, really, the main difference is because we just started the foundation, in April. And the big deal, what's really changed is we've realized it's a crisis.
Mhm.
That's the deal. We've been doing our gig for a long time, but with the nonprofit, it is such a crisis. Yesterday we did a podcast and I pulled up the headlines, the blindsided headlines in a Google search.
Mhm.
Within the last 2 days, there were 7 major headlines on blindsided. One of the NFL players, one of the Timberwolves, there was a J-Lo blindside, there was a Tay Diggs and Sean Puffy Diddy Combs blindside, there was a mayor blindside. This is it within 2 days. So it's seriously a crisis. And as a psychologist, we've got, the mental health crisis. And so Michael and I specialize in both with our unique tools that are ultra fast, supersonic. And this is why we started the nonprofit, because it's a problem.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and so how much, this is probably a loaded question, but how much do you think the COVID situation and lockdown all that exacerbated all that?
It definitely lit the fuse and really changed. It shifted the consciousness. And I know that, all of your listeners, everyone I run into has noticed that, like, wow, are things different now? People getting blindsided and they never see it coming. And a lot of it had to do with the COVID.
Yeah. The COVID really, it forced people to take a look at their lives, their lifestyle, their mate. Now everyone's forced to be at home and they didn't have their escape as because now everyone's home. And so it really, and then everyone's, not feeling well, and that exacerbates things. And, it just really had everyone, it held up a mirror to everyone's life, is what's going on? What are we doing here? So yeah.
So this all evolved from just kind of what you guys had experienced in your own personal lives?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back to that first day in school,
Mhm.
the minute I saw Michael, when he walked in the classroom, I knew he was the one. The bells went off, my intuition, soulmate, you got a mission, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what the hell? He's twice my age, da, 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 da. But I ran home. I told my roommate, I said, Heather, I'm going to marry this guy. And then I waited till the semester ended. I got an A on my own merit. Then I saw him in the hallway and I asked him out. And we went out the very next day for dinner, lunch, then dinner, then 90 days engaged, 9 months married. And now it's been, 29 years married, 30 years together. So he had the dream and he forgot the dream. And then the deja vu of being together and me getting a fitness trainer certification triggered. Deja vu is French and it means having seen before. A forgotten prophetic dream is what it is. And so he had, his deja vu. I had my intuition. And then when on our first date, he's walking me to my car and my license plate, the letters were KRW. Those are the initials of his first wife.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew, he took it as a sign, serious relationship. There's your dream signs and intuition bringing us together. We didn't talk about it though. We kept silent on our data. And we just kept moving forward. And then we're like, hey, this is a mission. These are real tools. They're on autopilot. They're 24/7. We need to share this message now. And we've been doing it and cultivating it ever since.
Yep. That is
good stuff. Good stuff. Guys, we're going to hit a break here. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more about deja vu, about dreams and intuition.
If you would like to reach hundreds of thousands of business owners every week, Mr. Biz Radio can help. Our show airs globally 7 days a week for more than 25 hours across several internet radio stations, plus 20 plus podcast platforms. Also, video exposure on the new exclusive Mr. Biz Network streaming channel, which gets blasted to 100 plus streaming platforms, and the Mr. Biz YouTube channel, and our 350,000 social media followers multiple times every week. Join Mr. Biz Nation as an advertiser by emailing us at info@MrBizSolutions.com.
Attention, Mr. Biz Nation. We have an exclusive offer just for you. Get lifetime access to scarcity countdown timers and logic links for only $69. Yes, you heard it right, only $69. These tools will add urgency to your email campaigns and website pages, helping you increase conversions, sales, and capture more leads. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Visit getpulsetools.com now and take your business to new heights.
Got a question for Mr. Biz you want answered on air? Email it to info@MrBizSolutions.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show again. Talking this week with Dr. Reverend Nic and Mike Sebastian. They're founders of the Divine Guidance Institute and Wellness Center. So, guys, look, Nic, you mentioned deja vu. I've always been fascinated with this. Never really had a conversation with someone with both your collective expertise. So you had mentioned that is a form of a remembered dream. I'm probably saying it incorrectly, but is that?
Yeah, it's French and it means having seen before. And it's actually a forgotten prophetic dream. So we had a dream of the future. We totally forgot it. Then we're meeting it out here. And it's like, wait, this is so familiar. What is this? It's a deja vu, a forgotten prophetic dream.
And dreams are a snapshot. They are a snapshot. There's no such thing as just a dream. And I found that out through analyzing my dreams, journaling them, watching them, getting a dream of Nicole 3 years before meeting her. And it was very specific. She was even wearing the purple dress that was in the dream when she walked into my class. Like, whoa, what a coincidence. What a sign. It was like, that's when I realized that much of what we think of as just a dream, or maybe we're not paying attention to the signs. Quantum physics now says everything is entangled. You've read a lot of articles in the past month, quantum entanglement. It means everything is connected. And if we start paying attention, we start seeing the connections and things open up for us. Our awareness and our consciousness expand.
Interesting. So what, I had this happen to me, and this has been a long time ago now, but I was having a recurring dream. All the details were exactly the same. It ended the same way. It was on the same road. And I had this recurring dream, and it went on for probably, I want to say 3 or 4 years. And I just I had no idea what the heck, like, and it wasn't like every night or anything like that. It would be completely random. It would be, I'd have it, and I wouldn't have that dream for 3 months, and all of a sudden I would have it twice in 1 week, and then I wouldn't have it for a month, and I'd have it again, and all that kind of stuff. What is that something? What's your take on that?
Here's real quick, the mechanics, and then Nic will add some to it. But the way it works is that when we have a recurring dream and it continues for a while, like you said, maybe even a couple of years, or at least a couple of weeks or months, important message coming in. It's very important that we figure the dream out and figure the message out. That's why it's recurring. It's saying, hey, wake up, come on. Here's the message. You're going to have this dream until you figure it out. And when we figure it out, guess what? The dream stops. It goes away. It doesn't recur anymore. So
it's funny you say that, Mike. That was going to be my follow-up. So I stopped having the dream, and that's when I kind of figured it all out. And this dream was, I was driving in a car, and I was going over a bridge. I was on a road, and I was approaching a bridge, and this bridge was super, super steep. And I was getting up, and it was so steep that I was concerned the car was going to flip over. And then I would wake up. I never actually flipped over in the car, but I would. And I had a major life decision. I made a major life decision, and I stopped having a dream. And I started to do some research about it. And again, this was, I don't know, 15 years ago, probably. I mean, longer than that, 16, 17 years ago. And afterwards, I'm like, I haven't had this dream for a while. And I was putzing around on the internet one night, and I do some Google searches, recurring dreams, and then started diving down a little bit further. And according to the research I did, it said that, that was a sign, obviously, that there's something coming here. You got to, again, like you said, Mike, wake up. And that was what it said, was it was a decision, right? So you have to make this decision. Are you going to go over this bridge that might flip you over, or are you going to go off the side? Because there was I forgot to mention that, as you're going off this bridge, there was a road off to the side that you could go around. Well, I always went up the bridge. And once I made that major life decision, I never had that dream again.
Dig that.
There
I'm
you go.
assuming it was the right choice.
Yeah. Everything turned out well and it was all good and everything. But, and I didn't realize it at the time, that life decision, it was not really a blindside. It was maybe not that abrupt, but it was, I didn't realize I had this thing facing me, that, this big life decision I was going to have to make, until it, kind of popped up. And, but yeah, it was super interesting. And even just from that one scenario, I've always been super fascinated with it. And it's funny. I know you hear these all the time, but my wife will wake up sometimes and she'll say, "Man, you were a real jerk in my dream last night." I'm like, we'll be brushing our teeth in the morning, getting ready for work or whatever, and she's kind of salty or whatever. I'm like, what? Right. Sleep? What's going on? She's like, "You were a real jerk in my dream last night." I'm like, that wasn't really me, right? Like, I can't get in trouble for something I didn't actually do. Yeah, but oddly enough, I should mention that. So she has a twin sister, and she often will have dreams, and in the dreams that her twin sister's in, her twin sister is always mean to her. And they get along really well. I mean, they have their spats every now and again, but they are super close. They get along really, really well, as you can imagine. But every time she has a dream that her sister's in, her sister is very mean to her. And I didn't make me think of that, because she goes, "I gotta figure out what the heck that means. Why is she always a jerk to me in my dreams?"
May I?
Yeah, sure.
All right. This will be cool. All right. Yes. So here's the thing. The question is, and this will help the audience. So this is cool. This is perfect in real time. Okay. And we don't have much time. So when you have a dream, it's about what's going on in your life now or yesterday. What is the predominant thought or the thing you're wondering about? And since you said they get along pretty well or very well, I would suggest that is her higher self or her little self in the dream, because they're twins. So it's the two versions of us, the positive, negative type thing. And she needs to treat herself a little better, a little more kind. So when she has that dream, I'm sure she's probably been, because we all talk, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that," or this, and this, type stuff. And I'm sure it's the negative self-talk on some level. And that's what the message is when she has those dreams.
Interesting. Yeah. I'll definitely have to pass that along. I'm going to make her, she never watches the show or listens to the show. I'm going to make her watch this one.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk a little bit. I know we only got about a little over a minute here, so we'll probably have to continue on in the next segment, but what's your trust yourself system? What does that mean?
It is the bomb. Okay. Because, you can interpret a dream or a sign or have a gut feeling, but we have developed the methodology of all three, so you can confirm. You can take it to the next level to confirm a choice. Is my dead grandmother in heaven? Is she okay? Is my spouse cheating? Should I move to Texas? Should I take this new job? Type stuff. You can confirm it. You do your homework, then you take it to the next level. You can program a dream, track your data, and then you can confirm it again. You can ask for a sign for confirmation. So it's this whole system taking it to the next level of confirmation.
And it's really using your, the left side of your brain is the data collection, doing your homework. Maybe you're going to invest in a stock portfolio or get into the housing market seriously. And you go, "Wow, I just had a negative feeling. I don't know why." That's your intuition telling you to stop and reassess, because then you're using the whole ball of wax. Then you're using your internal powers as well as the outer data, because as you well know, if you just use the data, at some point you're going to get blindsided. So that's a good balance.
Interesting. All right. So we're going to hit a break here, guys. Again, Dr. Nic and Mike Sebastian. And we're going to, when we come back, I want to get some tips from you guys on how to avoid being blindsided. What are some of those things that we can do, practical tips we can have to help avoid some of this blindsidedness that's occurring?
How would you like to have direct access to Mr. Biz to help you run your business more profitably and more efficiently? At MrBizSolutions.com, you get live access to not only Mr. Biz, but also several of his hand-picked and trusted business experts, each with 20 plus years of experience to help you optimally manage and grow your business. That's just the start of where Mr. Biz Solutions begins. Learn more at MrBizSolutions.com. That's MrBizSolutions.com.
Attention, Mr. Biz Nation. We have an exclusive offer just for you. Get lifetime access to scarcity countdown timers and logic links for only $69. Yes, you heard it right, only $69. These tools will add urgency to your email campaigns and website pages, helping you increase conversions, sales, and capture more leads. Don't miss this incredible opportunity. Visit GetPulseTools.com now and take your business to new heights.
Check out all 3 of Mr. Biz's best-selling books at MrBizBooks.com. Now, once again, here's Mr. Biz.
All right, welcome back to the show. Again, talking with Dr. Nic and Mike Sebastian. We talked a little bit about your trust yourself system. I'm quite intrigued by that. I want to find out a little bit more, though. We talked at the outset about this whole aspect of blindsidedness and how just continue. You mentioned, Nic, all these different examples, right? Just recently, within the last couple of days, what are some things that we can do to maybe help avoid some of that, getting blindsided by different things?
So glad you asked. We're going to give you several tips, but we're going to start with our number one fabulous. If your audience, if they don't do anything else but this one tool, which we call one magic word, I'll give you a demo. If they only start with this, they're going to activate their superpowers legit. It's the HU, H-U, HU, and you inhale and HU on the exhale. Just say HU. The cool thing, Ken, you can do it out loud or silently, eyes open or closed. You can do it while you're doing the dishes or in a business meeting. No one has to know. And in the meantime, you're reducing stress and anxiety and anger. You're enhancing your intuitive abilities and activating your superpowers. And see, the more aware and awake we are with our intuition and just overall awareness, that's how we're going to avoid those blind sides. So that's the number one tool to get you rocking and rolling.
Yeah, and what the HU does is simply at a quantum level. So I'll throw a little science and spirituality. The HU meets and right in the middle brings them together. It literally harmonizes our vibrations from the inside out. And when we're in harmony and balance, we can hear, we can see, we're very quick to react and listen to our intuition and collect the data so we don't get blindsided. And the HU works, and it works very, very, very quickly and effectively. So, in addition to that, another tip I would say is back to our first book, Trust Yourself. I mean, let's not put everything out there on someone else, on the experts. We're relying on them. Maybe we put it all on the doctor, and right now there's like 700,000 misdiagnoses this year alone in the US. And it's like, whoa, trust yourself. Does it feel right? And if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. So that'd be another tip.
Yeah. Ken, that HU is so powerful. Michael used it for his PTSD from Vietnam. The HU, no meds or docs, the one magic word, just say HU, to overcome the symptoms from his PTSD.
Anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation. And I was headed to the VA to see the docs and get some meds. And I actually stumbled across the HU. And so I didn't go to the VA, and I started HUing. And on a very short period of time, all the serious symptoms started to abate. They started to lessen, and eventually they went away using the HU. So I've never, ever known it not to work. The only time it doesn't work is if you don't try it. And
you know what, Ken? It goes back 5,000 years to Egypt. They used to HU at the Sphinx from dusk until dawn as a society to raise the vibe of the place. So there's a lot of history there. We found it in 14 different religions and their sacred book, the word HU. The Freemasons, the Bible, it's the Quran, etc. The Sufis and the Sikhs. Also, it's in the Oxford English Dictionary. The word human, here's where we go. Human actually means God-man, God within man. In other words, we have those powers and abilities within us. Whether, you want to call it your higher self or the universe, the semantics don't really matter. It's the point that it's everything in your greatness and your fullness is activated when you HU. So people, we always say, just experiment with it. Don't believe us. just go try it and see what happens. And then you're going to go, whoa. Yeah. So.
And
Very interesting.
One more tip, and it's along the lines of what you already talked about, and pay attention. I tell your listeners to pay attention to your dreams, and the dream will provide you got provided with a snapshot of what was coming and an important decision. So you could know that it was coming and maybe sidestep it ahead of time. And so did I, what was coming. And, if you doubt that, just simply jot a dream down or two. That's all. And then go back and look in a week or two. And every single person we've ever dealt with always goes, oh my God, Mike. Once I realized I'd been given snapshots of what was coming in my life. I was given the solution to what I was wondering about, because the dream will always contain the problem and the solution. And that would be another tip. Yeah.
Interesting. So I have to ask this. Do we sometimes dream just like for fun? Like, does every dream have to mean something, or sometimes you just have a dream and it's just like it's a fun dream. It's like, doesn't necessarily mean anything.
They actually, well, they all have a message. Yes, indeed,
Okay.
Ken. But they can still be fun. We can have a fun dream with a message, but yeah, they all have a message. And that's the cool thing. It's like, how gaming is so huge. Gaming, gosh, it's an ongoing game or a puzzle, really, when you start tracking your data and decoding the messages. Cultures long ago, they used to do family dream time in the morning. They'd collectively sit there and do their dreams and decode each other's dreams as a family unit. And now in the morning, we don't have time. But what you do is you track your data. You either write the dream down, or you text it into your phone. Then later on, you transcribe it. And then you and wifey sit on the couch instead of the TV. You do dreams for an hour, half an hour, because you're working on your life together. So there's problems and there's solutions and decisions. So when you add this other data into the mix, woo, it's like Jedi Knight stuff and a bonding tool, because when it's like we're on the same team cracking the code. That's a quote on the book from a couple. Same team cracking the code, repaired our relationship, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
It's interesting. And we actually, I was joking a little bit, or I was serious. What I said was true, but my wife and I do actually in the mornings, and it just kind of out of conversational, like while we're getting ready, we'll often talk about like, oh man, I had this really weird dream. Again, sometimes she'll say I was mean to her in a dream. But we do like, and I'm a very, analytical thinker type of person. And my wife is not that at all. So I think sometimes she gets frustrated with me because she'll say, I had this dream and this happened and that happened. I'm like, gosh, I wonder what that means. And she's like, it doesn't have to mean something, Ken. Like, stop trying to overthink it. But again, I'm going to make her watch this show, and it does mean something.
Yeah.
And here's a truth. I'll share it with you. You're ready for the old line, the truth you can't handle, the truth, from Jack Nicholson, a few good men. But here's the truth. When we sleep, we dream. And when we dream, we leave the body in energy form, and we travel in other, like quantum physics says, there's 11 dimensions. We travel into other dimensions. Then we come back into the body like that. Sometimes a hard landing, I'll wake up, whoa. We come back, and the memory of that dream is really about our travels, where we've been. And sometimes it gets jumbled, but the more we work with them, it gets very clear, and we start remembering where we've been and it's kind of an overview, because it has a complete overview of where we're at.
It's interesting. So I'll wake up sometimes and I'll know that I had a dream, but I won't be able to remember very few details of it. I'll be like, gosh, I know it was a dream and it was a good dream, and why can't I remember it? And then other times I'll wake up and I can remember vivid details about the dream. I mean, colors and smells and like everything, super vivid. And so that's always been something that's kind of puzzling to me as well.
You remember the old maxim, let me sleep on it? Okay, that's because we problem solve in the dream state. Even if we don't remember the dream, we're still receiving the data and receiving a solution at a different level of consciousness. So we get the message even whether we do or don't, outwardly recall it. So it's on autopilot.
Well, guys, run out of time here. Really appreciate you coming on the show, though.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for having us. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah, absolutely. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a fantastic rest of your week. And don't forget, as always, cash flow is king.
To become part of Mr. Biz Nation, follow him on all social media platforms or never miss a show by going to MrBizRadio.com. If you prefer free video content, visit the Mr. Biz YouTube channel or check out his streaming channel, which is available on 100 plus streaming platforms at MrBizNetwork.com.